If you hit your wife for the first time in 30 years, you've never done it before, you ain't trying to be in the public eye giving interviews and just talking. You gonna sit down and you gonna think about that. And if she hit you for the first time, she should be sitting down like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we just embarrassed ourselves like that. I can't believe we did this and our children are gonna see this and like, no, hell no. I don't need to be married or have children to know that ain't a normal thing right there. Usually, people will attack these situations with the whole keep that same energy, and that's sort of the focal point of it. But for me, oftentimes when you see a lot of people criticizing people like Stephen A. Smith, thank you. Shannon Sharp, and said a lot of these people who failed to who tried to go extra hard on black people when the controversial situations are to arise. They'll often tell them to keep that same energy for the person of the other race. Like why are you going so hard on the brothers? Why are you always putting down the brothers? But for me, the way I see this situation is, I don't expect anything to happen to Dana White. I mean, we saw, well, I'm not going to even put Trevor Bauer in it, but like I said, I don't expect anything to happen to Dana White. We know the power Dana White has. We know the influence he has. We know that he owns the UFC, or he's the president of UFC, which is owned by Endover or something like that, which is the agency that Stephen A. Smith is signed to. But and yeah, like I said, I don't expect anything to happen. If you saw the TMZ interview with Dana White, you saw how embarrassing it was for them giving him those layup questions, such as, oh, there was a lot of and we know the Dana White situation. If you guys don't know, his wife slapped him, is from what we first saw in the video. We don't know what happened before, but we saw his wife slap him, and then we saw him slap her back, and they got into, it was an abusive altercation between a man and his wife. And TMZ did an interview with Dana White, and it was just embarrassing. I mean, like I said, we know that they're in cahoots as well, but it was just embarrassing seeing them try to give him these layup questions. Oh, there's a lot of alcohol involved, and just the softball question. Like, if this were any other person, this guy wouldn't have been able to come out and speak yet. But Dana was on TMZ, and but the point I was trying to get to was, he was First Take was talking about the situation. And of course they didn't go hard at Dana White. If you see just how embarrassing this was, it was just like my goodness, this is blatant covering up for a friend in a situation that would be 10 times worse for anyone else who's participating in the actual sport, such as MMA, or even if it was a basketball athlete. I mean, I wouldn't even go take it even that far. I saw Ariel Hawani's comments, and I do agree. If it were James Dolan, anyone else, they would not have had the same leniency towards that guy as they did for Dana White. Prefacing, and I do get the whole "this is my friend" part, and it's a difficult subject. I don't know how close Dana White and Stephen A. actually are, but to always talk about how fond you are of a person when they're involved in a controversial situation is very eye-telling. It's very telling. But like I said, I don't expect anything to happen to Dana White. My only thing that I ask it's for those people who are always coming on like a lot of our pages saying that, you guys are always trying to bash black people such as LeBron James, Stephen A, and Shannon Sharp. Man, this ain't right, and blah blah blah. My response to you is, because of what I saw with TMZ, because of what I saw with Stephen A and Molly on First Take and ESPN as a whole, my response is, this is why. This is why we hold them accountable, because no one else will. No one else will. No one else will. Again, this ain't black or white for me. But no one else would get that pass for doing what they did. We saw Ray Rice on video. Ray Rice has never played a game in the NFL again. If this were Roger Goodell in the situation as Dana White, Roger Goodell would be asked to resign tomorrow, or right now, or right when it happened. But no one else would have gotten that pass that Dana White has gotten. Don't ever expect us, don't ever look at us and say, oh, you guys are just tearing these people down, they just doing their job and whatnot, because they're clearly not doing their jobs. They're clearly not doing their jobs. Molly talked about, there was alcohol on both sides and all of that. I'm like, you know damn well no one else would get this pass. You are not allowed to talk about Dana White. You're not allowed to go at him as you would anyone else. And I said this in other videos, you can just see how nervous they are, how careful they are when they speak on these things, when it's someone that they're in bed with, such as being in business together. When Dana White, we know the UFC has ties to ESPN. They're so careful with their words, so careful. Because and that's what happens when you try to play both sides. When they're talking, they're thinking about the backlash they're getting on Twitter at the moment, due to it being a live show. They're thinking about what people are going to say, and people were holding them accountable. There was an ESPN guy, a writer for ESPN, who said something of the lines of, he tweeted that we're not, we were told not to write stories on this subject and whatnot, but please don't think that all of us at ESPN are taking this domestic violence situation lightly. We're just not allowed to say anything. I don't know who that was, and that's not an exact quote, but someone tweeted that. But it's just crazy how lightly they choose their words, because they know, like, if this were Kyrie Irving, like I've seen like Stephen A was speaking on this, and he was saying, when Molly was talking, he then added on to what she was saying. He was like, I don't really have much more to say on the topic. I don't really have anything else to add. And that was telling to me, because when it's Kyrie Irving or anyone else, this man has no filter. Let that have been James Dolan. Let that have been James Dolan. Again, that's something I don't really like to dwell on, because I understand the world. I understand the world we're living in. That's why I don't look at the Dana White thing, and I'm not coming on here saying, oh, he should be fired, this is a tragedy, if this were a black man and blah blah blah. Like, we know that, we get that, we know about the injustice. Nobody's blind to that. Most people are just scared to talk about it, or just try to ignore it, altogether. I get that, but like I said, my thing is, don't come on here, don't come on other people's pages trying to say that, they're tearing down black men and whatnot, when we criticize and hold them accountable. We're not tearing them down, we're telling the truth about them. About people like Stephen A. Smith. We're telling the truth about them. And the reason that we have to constantly come on here and defend that, because we know the situation of our people in this world. We know these things, so we have to be guarded and show our people the truth at all times when we see we're not getting a fair shake at certain situations. So it's different for us. It's just, it'll never fail to amaze me when I see, like, it's like for me, it was just like, it's confirmation when I see watching that first take clip, seeing how they are like so nervous to speak on the situation, knowing how animated Stephen A. Smith would be if it were Kyrie Irving. That's been his latest victim, or his most recent victim, most recent target, I would say, victim, whatever. But he would never have said, "I don't really have much more to add." He would have gone until they told him, "All right, Stephen, that's enough. We got to go to commercial break." I've never really heard women on these major platforms say what Molly Quorum said also about, let's make a note that she also hit him. I've never heard that. She said that, and I'm like, wow. Like I was saying, that's like confirmation for me, like, because you can see how scared, how nervous they are. They know they're about to get the backlash on Twitter. They know what the people are going to say. And they know it. That's the thing. They know it. So I can only imagine how difficult these people's lives must be. Sure, they have a lot of money, a lot of wealth, influence, but man, to live a double life like that has to be it has to be just hard to do. I don't feel for you because you chose that life, but I can only imagine. It's insane. It's insane how they use, and I'm telling you, man, when I was listening to him talk about the part about Stephen A was talking about how alcohol was in play, it's like they're using that, and I'm like, that's a dangerous thing to say, because, and I know what he means, but still, that's very dangerous, because you're saying, oh, let's not forget alcohol in play. Okay, can I drive drunk right here and right now? And if I get into an accident and hurt someone, can I say, hey, officer, you can't hold me accountable because I was drinking? I didn't know. It was a lot of alcohol. You see all this alcohol in my car. There's no alcohol in my car, by the way. You basically telling people that there was alcohol in play, so let's not be too harsh on them. That's just ridiculous that you could use something like that for this guy. Like, every excuse in the book, like I said, the TMZ interview was just cringy, embarrassing, because you can tell that they are just in cahoots with the interview. Oh, there's a lot of alcohol. I heard that place is just like filled with a lot of alcohol, Dana. Like, there's a lot of alcohol there, right? I'm like, God, dang. Can I go get drunk, hold up a bank, and say, hey, officer, I've been drinking, so you cannot hold me accountable for holding up this bank because I've been drinking. So let me get this money that I robbed and let me be on my way because I've been drinking. Yes, I'm about to get in this car, but I've been drinking. I'm not in my right state of mind, so therefore, you can't hold me accountable. That's dangerous, man. That's crazy. That situation is so crazy. That's why they have their morning meetings, man, because when a player is accused of something like this, and now that we've seen how they handled the Dana White situation, the backlash they've been getting, you're going to see how they going to preference by saying, and I know a lot of people going to say, oh, you didn't go this hard for Dana White, but let me take my glasses off. Put that camera on me. I'm going to tell you why this situation is different. As a black man, I'm like, shut the heck up, bro. Shut up. Don't nobody want to hear nothing you got to say. Because it ain't different. Dana White had all that to say about Ray Rice. Man should never hit a woman. He's absolutely right. And personally, I refuse to believe Broncos requested to talk to Sean Payton. I refuse to believe that has never happened between Dana and his wife before. You can just look at the people's reaction in the skybox where they were, and when he hit her, you can just tell that, hey, they do this. This is normal for them right here. To me, it looked like, oh, this is normal. They tried to give them the benefit of saying that, oh, Dana said he's never done this in his 30 years or whatever, being married to her. And she came out and said the same thing. Of course, she's going to say the same thing. The difference between black people and other nations is that as a whole, they are connected. They live by a code. Of course she's going to say the same thing. And I'm not saying that she's completely absolved of anything, because we don't know what happened before that we saw the recording, but she hit him. You can tell that they do this. You can tell that they just look like one of them crazy couples that just fight all the time. So no, I don't believe that that's the first time that they've ever that she's ever slapped him and he's ever slapped her. Heck no, you can tell by the reaction of them people. You had the one girl back there, she was like this. Soon as he hit her, I'm telling you, man, that woman's face, it was a blonde woman, her face didn't go, oh my God. She was just like, oh, this is normal. This is what they do. Oh well, like it was crazy. So I just think that's a bold-faced lie when they were talking about, oh, this is the first time something like this has ever happened with the two of us. Heck no. You hit her and you didn't go, oh my God, I just hit my wife. You hit her like, I told you last time. I told you last time. Man, you hit a woman for the first time and it ain't a life or death situation to where she has a gun or a knife and your life is in danger, and you know she hit you and you can just like, hey, chill out, get her out of here. I'm not trying to, retaliate. If you hit a woman and you've never done that before with your wife of 30 years of being married, that ain't gonna be your doggone reaction. That man's reaction was like nonchalant. Like, yeah, just like last time, I told you. You saw everybody, come on, man. Come on, man, who y'all think y'all trying to fool? Heck no, I don't believe that. That's a lie if I ever heard one. But like I said, again, don't expect anything to happen to Dana White. The man was, a few days later, the man was in a casino gambling. If you hit your wife for the first time in 30 years, and you've never done it before, you ain't trying to be in the public eye giving interviews and just talking. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna think about that. And if she hit you for the first time, she should be sitting down like, oh my goodness, I can't believe we just embarrassed ourselves like that. I can't believe we did this and our children are gonna see this and like, no, hell no. I don't need to be married or have children to know that ain't a normal thing right there. And you ain't just gonna bypass it like it's normal and be out in the public eye like that. Let James Dolan had hit his wife, and 3 days later he was gambling and giving interviews. I'm just saying. We know Dana White's power. We know his position. We know nothing's going to happen. I'm just saying, don't be coming at us saying that we're tearing people down, that we're telling the truth about. That's all I ask.